Hey guys, it's JStars360 here with my thoughts on Monsters University continued, but I'm going to go into spoilers this time. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want it spoiled, then don't watch this video. I'm going to have a link in the description to where I talk about all the... I'll say in the annotations where I'm talking about the ending, so if you're particularly curious about where I thought about that part, you can just skip right there. But if you don't, then you can watch the whole video. And also, yes, I have seen the Days of Future Past show. It looks awesome. I'll talk about that in a video later today. But for right now, I just want to talk about this. Get it done. So, real quick, here's a couple things that I just generally liked about the movie. There are spoilers. One thing is the fact that they had Monsters, Inc. in the movie. I thought that was nice because I feel like Monsters University felt very separate from Monsters Inc. Like, I had a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that they took place in the same world. So, to see Monsters University in the movie, I thought Inc. was good because it helped me establish that they're both in the same world. And also, it was nostalgic. I mean, Monsters Inc., you only see the scare floor, which is such an iconic location, and to see it again made me smile. It was like, it's good to see it again. And it also shows just how far Pixar's come animation-wise, because it looks really good. And yeah, did not feel forced at all. Also, it's weird to think that it was weird to think they were in driving distance, but at the same time, I don't care. I'm happy to see it. It also makes sense plot-wise, because Mike and Sully's dream is because you need a scene where Mike and Sully can see their dreams, see the future that they want. So it was a nice touch. On a side note, in Monsters Inc., when Mike and Sully are walking to work for the first time in the movie, in the background you can see what looks like Monsters University. I don't know if that is. Again, at the time they probably had no clue they were making Monsters University, but I wonder if that sort of was if that it is supposed to be it, but who cares. So, one more thing I want to talk about. I mentioned Randall in my Monsters University review, and how I addressed the criticism about him, people saying he didn't do enough. But I want to talk about him a bit more. Now, in my review, I said I liked how you knew what was going to happen, but you didn't know how it was going to happen. The film made how it was going to happen interesting. And one thing they did was they sort of tricked the audience. In the second trailer for Monsters University, they make it seem like Mike and Sully are going to be roommates. Like, Mike gets his dorm key, and then the guy giving me his key says, "Your roommate's a scaring major, too." And then Mike goes, and then next part of the trailer is Mike and Sully in the room together. So you assume, oh, they're roommates. Nope, they're not. That's a later scene they showed. In reality, Mike's roommate is Randall, which took me, and along with a bunch of other people, completely by surprise. Did not expect... That's one thing to know about this movie. Every character sort of gets a big introduction, because, we haven't seen him in... Because for us, the audience, we haven't seen him in 12 years, so... With Cars 2, they don't need that big of an introduction because, it hasn't been that long since the previous movie. But with Toy Story 3 and Monsters University, it's been a while, so, you sort of need to give the characters their big introduction. So, and this movie does. So yeah, there's a bit of surprise where you're expecting Sully, but it's really Randall. And then there's, of course, the dramatic irony of how Mike and Randall are expecting them to become good friends, but in reality, quite the opposite will happen. And now I want to talk about the ending, which came as a complete surprise to me. Again, I knew, what's going to happen. Mike and Sully are going to become friends, they're going to become scares, but you don't know how they're going to get to that point. And when I saw this trailer for this movie, and while I was watching it, I thought I had it figured out. I thought I knew how they were going to get to that point. I was like, okay, they're going to win the scare games, graduate Monsters University, and become scares. That's how I thought it was going to go. Did not go that way at all. When they won the scare games, I was like, oh, this is good. Mike found a way to be scary, and they won the scare games. This is so happy. And then it turns out Mike didn't win. Sully tricked Mike. And then they go into the human world, which took me completely by surprise. And that for me, when they entered the human world, and the couple of minutes before that, that for me is where the movie got really interesting because it was unpredictable and it had a lot of heart. Like there's Mike and Sully have this really nice conversation by the lake, which is a great scene by the way, which is probably my favorite scene in the entire movie. One, because it is a nice conversation. Sully is finally becoming likable. He's starting to kind of become the Sully we all know and love. And also visually, it looks fantastic. There's this great shot of Mike and Sully's backs where they're sitting in front of the lake, and they look really close to how they look in Monsters Inc. And it's just a great shot. I mean, you can see it briefly in the third trailer, and it's just awesome. And also, I love how it's a quiet scene. Like you can hear like the crickets chirping. Like that scene, while the scene was going on, I was just saying to myself, "This is the level Finding Dory needs to be at least." Another thing I like about the ending is them scaring all the adults. I thought that was a much more satisfying way for them to prove themselves scarers than winning the scare games. Because if they had just won the scare games, it would have been all right. The ending would have been all right, but this was a really good ending. So what I like about the ending is that it's teaching a valuable lesson. Because Mike is really smart, but he's not that scary. Sully's really scary, but he's not that smart. And they sort of have to work together to scare the adults and get out and escape. Because, again, Mike knows how to scare him, but he's not scary enough. Whereas Sully could scare him, but he doesn't know how. And I like that because it teaches kids that, yes, brains are important. Yes, skill is important. But they're useless on their own. You need both to succeed. And I thought that was a really great message, and the film did a really nice job explaining that. And then they break the mistress's scare record, which surprised people. And then the film took a couple risks. I don't want to say risks, but things that were pretty surprising to see in a kids' movie. One is the fact that Mike and Sully get expelled. Yep, you heard me right. Mike and Sully get expelled from college. Like, that genuinely surprised. Well, it would have surprised me, but someone spoiled it before I saw the movie. It did not ruin the experience at all. A bit, but it wasn't like completely ruined. It's not like spoiling like Fight Club or Psycho. No, because just to see them get expelled from college and not just give them the happy ending where the dean lets them back in and they graduate. No, that would be the safe ending. The fact that they get expelled, that's pretty amazing. And it also makes sense because, they did sort of break some rules, and that can't go unpunished. Because otherwise, you'd be promoting mischief. But on the plus side, since Uzma Kappa had nothing to do with it, they all become popular. And, did I mention that I did warm up to Uzma Kappa a bit throughout the movie? Not a lot, but I did warm up to them. So they get expelled. Then Dean says they surprised her and that she'll be on the look for more surprises, which, funny enough, is how I feel about Pixar in regards to this movie. It surprised me, and I'm going to be looking out for more surprises from Pixar. And I also like that scene because it shows that the Dean, she's not a straight-up villain. I mean, she looks mean and she's tough, but she's not generic. She is human. She is a real person. That scene just makes that come across. And then, Mike and Sully become friends, and then we see them become scares in a way that I found that was rather surprising. Which is they start from the mailroom, which is the joke. Oh, they're always hiring the mailroom, and they actually work their way up from the mailroom to being scares, and I thought that was again great message for kids. I mean, I mean, it was surprising for one thing. And it also, again, it shows kids that, if you work hard, you can succeed. Like, you can start from the bottom and work your way to the top. And, again, it was also... I just blanked out what I was going to say. And I found that scene ending amusing because there was this computer game I played when I was little. It was like an activity center for Monsters Inc. where you did mini games. You started in the mailroom, then you did a lunch mini game. Then you did a bunch of mini games, and it was funny because the ending of the movie was pretty much that computer game. I wonder if they took it from it. And trying to think if there's anything. Oh yeah, there were 2 cameos in this movie which I liked. One of which was spoiled for me. The other one was not. First was Roz. I thought that was a great cameo. First off, seeing the CDA was great. That's, again, it helped it feel like Monsters Inc. Because Monsters University doesn't really feel like a monster world. It feels like an ordinary setting with monsters in them. It doesn't feel as fantastic, as magical as Monsters Inc. and fantasy-like. So seeing the CDA just made it feel like Monsters Inc. Also, seeing Roz was great. I mean, I think we all knew she was going to be in it because, I mean, she's probably like the best part of Monsters. One of the funniest characters in Monsters Inc. How could you not put her in there? And everyone in the theater started laughing when she appeared. And, and I like how they explain why she's at Monsters Inc. And they also explain the snowman. The snowman cameo made me laugh. I love that. And I also love how Mike and Sully never see Roz, so therefore this doesn't contradict Monsters Inc. And also, with the snowman, they never say it's the first time they met, so I'm willing to let it slide, the cameo. I mean, it was a little rushed, but you have to get John Ratzenberger in the movie somehow. And let me see if there's anything else. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on this movie. Again, movie was okay for the most part. Ending was really good. Had most of the movie been on the level of the ending, I would have liked it more. Overall, it wasn't as good as Brave. Brave on the whole was much better, but the ending of Monsters University was better than anything in Brave, and I want to, that for me was a Pixar quality. And yeah, so in conclusion, Monsters University, again, surprised me, was better than I thought it was going to be. It was still okay. Again, pretty movie outside the ending. But at the end of the day, I'm glad I saw it. If you are a big fan of Monsters University Inc., I'd say check this one out. You'll probably enjoy it. You might enjoy it as much as the first one. I mean, some people have... I've seen one fan who said she didn't like it. But for me, they're both pretty much on the same level of okayness. Monsters Inc. is still the better film, but Monsters University is enjoyable. It restored my faith in Pixar. It's definitely gonna get a nomination for Best Animated Film. It should win. It'll probably win. I mean, unless Frozen's really good. But in that case, but who knows? Maybe the Academy will just favor Pixar like they usually do. And yeah. So again, check it out if you like Monsters Inc. That's all I have to say at this point. I'll upload my X-Men Days of Future Past review of the trailer later today. And yeah, this is JStar360 signing out.